What's up, guys? Here we are, another week at the Home Theater Hobbyist, and this week we have our review of the RSL Speedwoofer 10S. So let's get to it.
So here it is. This is the Speedwoofer 10S from RSL Speakers. It's a 10-inch subwoofer that has a Class D amp that outputs 350 watts of power, RMS. It has a frequency response from 24 hertz up to 200 hertz. It weighs about 40 pounds and is basically a cube in its dimensions. It's 16 inches tall, 15 inches wide, and just under 17 inches deep. This is a really nice sub, and it also features RSL's compression guide technology, which is supposed to reduce cabinet resonance and give you a cleaner, tighter bass sound. One thing about this particular subwoofer is you can purchase this wireless audio transmitter for an additional $50. And what this does is this allows you to place your your subwoofer anywhere in your room within about 35 feet of this adapter. And so you would take this with the supply cables, plug this into your receiver, and you would pair it, because there's a wireless receiver inside this subwoofer. You would pair it and you would have a wireless setup. So it allows you to place it anywhere you want to, give you more flexibility, and you don't have to run wires all around your room. Now let's talk about the front of this. This grill actually does pop off. All you have to do is pull it. It's on here pretty tight, it's pretty snug, but you pull it off and there you go. That's the 10-inch driver right there. And just so you can see it, this does have a little bit of a curve to it because there's a little curve there, and I kind of like that look. Now let's talk about controls. On the back of the subwoofer, you have all of your controls. We'll start at the top with your power light. You have your wireless button, so you push this to pair it with your wireless adapter if you get that feature. You have volume, you have your crossover frequency, phase, your internal or external crossover, your line in, line out here, speaker level in and out. You also have a power button, off or auto on, and a power cable. The other thing I like about this particular subwoofer is the fact that they tell you home theater settings right here. It tells you disable, or this is disabled, which means your crossover frequency is disabled, and you use your receiver to control your crossover frequency, which is what we recommend here at the Home Theater Hobbyist. It also gives you your crossover bypass here, and it tells you this is your LFE in if you're actually going to wire this in. So everything that you would expect is on the rear of this particular subwoofer. Okay, so let's move on to setup. Setting this thing up was actually pretty easy. One of the good things is it's smaller, so you can kind of put it anywhere. And I wanted to break it in a little bit. So what I did was I just put it on the floor. I connected the wireless adapter, connected this, got this thing paired, which it took seconds. It took basically no time. And got everything paired, and I started playing music just to break it in. And I was already impressed. I was like, man, this thing sounds good. I had the volume at about 30% or so, and I mean, it was just really doing really well. And so played that for several hours and just kind of let it just play, and I was enjoying that. And after I did that, I decided, okay, I've got to find the right spot in my room because I really want to hear how this sounds with movies. So I took this, I placed it on the couch in my listening position, and I did the subwoofer crawl, which means I played one track, and it was really a test tone track, over and over and over. I put it on repeat, and I crawled around my room until I found the optimal place where this subwoofer sounded the best. And for me, it actually sounded the best in the back corner of my room behind my main listening position. So I put it there, and then I calibrated it using my auto calibration setup from my Denon receiver. From there, I was able to listen to music and watch movies, of course, with it being set up. So let's listen to a track of music and watch a quick movie, or watch a scene from a movie anywhere, so you guys can get a feel for how it sounds. Hopefully the microphone will actually pick this up. The first track I'm going to play for you is a track from the Sioux Research Bass Test CD. It's track 1, it's an organ symphony, and the author claims this gets down to 16 hertz. Now, this particular subwoofer won't go that low, but there are a lot of frequencies that this subwoofer can hit that this plays, and it gives you a good idea of just how good deep bass sounds. Now, the next thing I'm going to play for you is a movie scene from Jurassic Park when they first get introduced to the dinosaurs. I always play this scene because I know the scene very well and I know how it's supposed to sound, so this is always a good comparison for me.
It's a dinosaur.
Now, the next video that you saw was the scene from Jurassic Park that I always play just to kind of get a good baseline for what it is I'm listening to, because I know that scene very well. And this really came through in spades. It sounds great, guys. I mean, it really does. I was blown away by how good this particular subwoofer sounds. I mean, it is really good, guys. Really good. Now, one of the things I do want to mention is with that particular bass test CD, they give you some test tones that you can use to actually test out your subwoofer, and you'll see just how well it does at all the different frequency ranges. And one of the things I did notice with this particular subwoofer was that below 25 hertz, this really doesn't have much for you guys. Now, that I can say that above 25 hertz, or let's say 30 hertz and above, it sounds really good. But anything below that, it doesn't really do well. But as long as you're listening to things that are, let's say, 30 hertz and above, this thing sounds excellent. I mean, excellent. I was just blown away by how well this sounds. In reviewing this subwoofer, I was trying to think of a good way to explain to you guys how I feel about this particular subwoofer. So I decided to break it out in categories and rate this particular subwoofer in the different categories 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the absolute best. And the first category we want to talk about is design. From a design standpoint, I think this subwoofer is about a 3. And the reason why I give it a 3, middle of the road, is because it's nice, but it's not like the best subwoofer I've ever seen. The things I do like about the subwoofer is the overall finish. This is sort of a matte finish, so it doesn't pick up any fingerprints, which is nice. Now, this is a sort of a piano black or gloss black finish down here, so it adds a nice little touch of, I don't know, pizzazz, a little something like that, which is nice. One of the things I don't like is the sharp edge corners here. I would prefer if the corners were a bit more rounded, had a bit more curvature on them, just because it looks so square, so much like a box. And I don't like that, but again, that's a personal choice. So overall, from a design standpoint, I would say that this is a 3. Moving on to features and controls, I would say this is a 3.5. It has all of the controls that you would expect to have on this particular subwoofer, but they also give you the ability to buy this, purchase this wireless adapter for $50, which isn't cheap, but it's not like the most expensive thing in the world. And it gives you the ability to go wireless and gives you better placement. So that's how it gets the half point there. So overall, from a feature and control standpoint, I'd give this a 3.5. Moving on to performance, this is a solid 4, maybe even a 4.5, guys. I am really impressed by how well this particular subwoofer performs. The reason why I'm not going to say it's a 5 and I'm kind of a little shaky, I'm going to give it a 4. That's it. I'm going to give it a 4. And the main reason why I'm giving it a 4 instead of a 4.5 or 5 is because it doesn't play as deep below, let's say, 25 hertz. And that's not really a knock on it. I mean, it's a pretty small subwoofer, so you can't expect like the world out of it. But what it does have, what it can give you, is solid, guys. I mean, this thing is solid. For all of you out there that said that you have an RSL Speedwoofer and you love it, I understand why. I really do. You've mentioned it in the comments, and now I get it. This thing is solid from a performance standpoint. Moving on to value. I give this a 5 on value, and I give it a 5 on value because of the price versus performance. This is a $400 subwoofer, and you can, again, add the wireless adapter for another $50. And man, for $400, I don't think you can buy anything that will do as well as this can do. And if it does, it'll probably be on par. I don't see anybody really producing something that's going to do better than this for that price point, unless they figure out how to get it to do, let's say, 20 hertz or 15 hertz or something like that. But that might be defying the laws of science. I don't know. Anyways, the point is, from a value standpoint, we are talking a 5. This thing is just crazy good. I mean, crazy good. So overall, I highly recommend this subwoofer, especially for those that may have a small to medium sized room. Like, it's only a 10-inch subwoofer, so you're not going to get like earth-shattering bass from it. But at the same time, I mean, the performance is awesome. I mean, it really, really is. And if you go duals with this, it's probably even better. I didn't have a second one here, but it is really, really, really good, guys. I was highly impressed. I highly recommend this. And also, if you're thinking about it, I would suggest that you go with the wireless audio adapter. For an additional $50, it gives you the flexibility that you need to be able to place it anywhere you want within 35 feet of the adapter. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider supporting us on Patreon. We'll talk to you next time.